Paging Dr. Juan. Paging Dr. Juan.
Hello there, Dave.
What's up, Billy?
Another episode of Revive America.
Welcome, everybody, back for our second episode of Revive America. I am your host, Dave Herrera.
And I'm your host, Billy Prempa. Thank you for joining us today. We got a really jam-packed week. I know last week we were on air. We said we were going to talk about voter fraud and all that things, but
just too many things happened this year.
way too much stuff happened this week.
Oh, man. But before we get into this, I know the American attention span is super short, so make sure you go and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Revive America. And you could follow him on Instagram at some guy named Bill. You could follow me on Instagram at Not Your Typical Politician to keep updates on our live in the show and everything else like that. But, we just want you to be along on this journey with us.
And the only way that we continue to grow is if you share it, you spread the word, and you let people know about everything we're doing on here. So before you even continue watching this, hit that share button. Tell all your homies to jump on board because we got a lot of jam-packed stuff to get into today.
I don't got that many homies, so he does.
So, homies, do me a favor. Spread the word.
Spread the word.
Yeah. So, let's get into the shenanigans. So, immediately,
yes,
immediately as when the year begins, Joe Biden has done what they tried to destroy Trump for. Trump took classified documents.
They tried to destroy Trump,
right? And they found an empty folder full of nothing.
Nothing.
It
was perfect.
Zero.
It was wonderful.
Nothing was in the folder.
All right. So what did Uncle Joe do this week?
So Joe Biden, he decided that it was a good idea to take classified documents. On the other hand, when Donald Trump took it, the documents he took were declassified.
There's a big difference.
And there was nothing in there still.
You know?
There was still nothing there.
Crazy.
This man, on the other hand, thought it was a brilliant idea to go and take classified documents and bring it to his home. Wong, you roll the tape?
People know I take classified documents and classified information seriously.
Stupid.
When my lawyers were clearing out my office at the University of Pennsylvania, they set up an office for me.
Oh, yeah?
A secure office in the Capitol. The 4 years after being vice president, I was a professor at Penn.
Oh, yeah.
They found some documents in a box in a locked cabinet, or at least a closet. And as soon as they did, they realized there were several classified documents in that box. And they did what they should have done.
It's funny how much he's stumbling over his
They immediately
words.
called the archives.
I mean, but we're used to this at this point, right?
Turned them over to the archives, and I was briefed about this discovery.
Oh, okay.
And surprised to learn that there were any government records that were taken there to that office. But I don't know what's in the documents. My lawyers
he
have
doesn't know, but he
not
took 'em.
suggested I ask what documents they were.
Well, listen,
I've
it's always
turned over
better
the
to
boxes.
deny.
They've turned over the boxes to the archives.
Hang
We're
on.
cooperating fully with the review,
cooperating
which I
fully,
hope will be finished
fully.
soon, and there'll be more detail at that time.
You know the funniest thing about this?
Wait, first, hold on 1 second. Where? I'm just gonna boo this man. Boo this man, okay?
Now, the thing that's funny about this is when he was reading that script that he's got.
Right.
If you really didn't do it, right, and there was nothing wrong, you shouldn't have a canned speech. You shouldn't have something written down.
I mean, how simple is it to just come out and be like, you know what? My bad. I didn't know I had him. Like, no big deal. We turned it over and we move on.
But you know what's also funny is when he comes on and he says, well, you know, my lawyer says this and that. Like, if your lawyer has to tell you something about that,
You fucked up.
absolutely. 100%. This time you started. This time you cursed first.
Listen, I'm 2 behind you, so I got to start off. Come on now. But no, you're 100% right. If nothing was done wrong, then you should have just came out and been like, look, it was a mistake. It happened. But we all know, 2 years into this presidency, that he's not calling the shots. He's not speaking freely. These are teleprompted words that are being told he has to say because we know he can't go on his own devices. So I wish that we could say that was the end of the blunders from number 46 here, but no, we actually, it happened twice. Now Juan can let the people know exactly what he said this time.
This time, they found a second batch of documents. Except
Two.
this time, this is the second batch now.
Second batch.
They found in his home office. So it's one thing if you messed up once. Like let's just bring. Let's
Right, like
just,
the first time was at like the Biden Penn Center, like at a college, like different state than where you live. Okay, right. I just want to for people look for me and you, we understand this, but there's a lot of people that don't understand. Like we might give you a slide on the first one. It's not at your home.
right, exactly, and not just that. It's like I said before. It's like with everything Trump did, everything he had was completely declassified. Nothing wrong, totally legitimate. No evidence was found inside those envelopes, and he didn't even have them.
None.
This guy, you did it one time, you dropped the ball, but then it turns out you did it again, right? But there's more.
But
There's more.
This is at your crib.
Yes, this is it. But there's more.
There's more.
There's more.
We have a tape for the second time?
Yes, we do.
Oh. All right.
Mr. President,
Okay.
classified material next to your Corvette. What were you thinking?
Zoom.
Let me, I'm going to get a chance to speak on all this, God willing, soon. But as I said earlier this week,
He's got another canned speech.
people, and by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage.
It's locked.
Okay, so it's
locked.
not like you're sitting out in the street. But at any rate,
Was in a locked garage.
yes, as well as my Corvette.
Like, that
but
makes a
as
difference.
I said
Well, it's
earlier
locked.
this week,
Right.
Still
people
classified.
know I take classified documents and classified material seriously.
So serious.
I also
Seriously,
said
gotta
we're
leave it in the
cooperating fully and completely with the Justice Department's review. As part of that process,
Look, you won't
my
even look you in the
lawyers
eyes.
reviewed other places where documents in my
Might.
from my time as vice president
be.
were stored, and they finished the review last night. They discovered a small number of documents of classified markings in storage areas and file cabinets in my home and my personal library. This was done in the case of the Biden Penn. This was done in the
almost said
case of
Biden
the
Pence.
Biden Penn Center.
They working
The
together.
Department of Justice was immediately, as was done, the Department of Justice was immediately notified, and the lawyers arranged for the Department of Justice to take possession of the document. So we're going to see all this unfold. I'm confident.
Damn right we're going to see it unfold.
Yeah, Juan, cut the tape. Cut the tape. Look, I know we played this for you, and we knew that this was coming, but let's be honest. How hard is it to listen to this man speak on anything?
Well, it's even harder to hear him read. It's even harder to hear him read.
Yeah, no. So we got overzealous, and we went right over to the second one, which was in his office, and we went right to, this is the video of the third time.
Yes, this is
So
the third time,
The
by
first
the way.
time we were at UPenn, in your office. Okay, fool me once.
Right.
And then we found documents in his home office. Fool me twice. But the third time, this is third in a matter of 48 hours. This is the third time. And
Think
it's
about that.
in your garage.
Stupid.
No, the fact is they think the American people,
He thinks that the American people are.
they gave Billy a sound button.
It's over now.
It's over. But what does that say? Like, classified documents in a garage. Now, I don't have a garage, but if I did, I'm pretty sure that's not where I would keep top secret, documents. So
now, here's the more important question. These documents are supposedly from when he was the vice president of the United States, right? Just speculating. We're going to go down the rabbit hole here for a second.
Love it.
What do you think is on the in the classified documents?
Well, from his time under presidency, we're talking about. We're just
That's enough out of you, Biden.
It's enough out of you, Joe. Well, you're thinking that's back between 2008 and 2016.
Right.
I mean, there's documents on Afghanistan, the war in Iraq. There's a whole bunch of other stuff.
You know what I think it is, honestly? Remember, and you know what's so annoying? Before I set up this slideshow, bro, I actually had the video that was up here. Joe Biden, if you remember, he was talking with the Council of Foreign Relations.
Yep.
You remember that, right?
Now
You know exactly what
I know where he's going, guys.
You know
I'm ahead of it. I got it.
So he was. If you guys haven't seen the video before, in the next episode, remind me. I'll put that on.
I do a good impression of it.
What of the
of that clip? If you want to do it.
He
said, I told them. He said, if you don't fire the goddamn prosecutor, you're not getting the money. And would you believe it? Prosecutor was fired.
Well, son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
Prosecutor was
fired.
If you guys haven't seen the video, basically it's Joe Biden sitting in front of the Council of Foreign Relations, and he's live on television in front of people watching him. And he basically tells people about how he's strong-armed Ukraine to fire the prosecutor that was investigating
looking
his
into
son,
Burisma.
Hunter Biden and Burisma.
Yep.
Right? He told you, if you don't fire that guy, and mind you, Joe
you're not
Biden,
getting the money.
Barack Obama sent him over to the Ukraine to bring over a couple $2 billion in military aid. Totally legitimate.
Yeah, totally.
But he overstepped his bounds as vice president and used it as an opportunity to.
And now that Billy does say that, I do remember actually seeing that article that in the first batch of declassified information that they found at UPenn that actually had a lot of stuff that dealt with Ukraine, with Russia, and with this overseas dealing on foreign energy.
I'm positive that's what's in there, bro.
But
I could be wrong.
We're missing the hit here.
What?
The biggest hit is, and look, for the last 6 months, they were talking about how the former president, whether you like him or not, and I know some of the viewers don't, but President Trump got his entire Mar-a-Lago raided for having declassified information that was already cleared by security.
He's got the nuclear codes.
He had all this stuff, and they found nothing, right? It was on every news source. They raided this man's house, right? Former president raided his house. But the president is allowed to have certain declassified information.
Yeah, no,
once
it's declassified.
Once it's declassified.
That's it.
But the thing that people are missing, Billy, is the vice president is not. The vice president doesn't have that same declassified. So we're missing the hit of well, Trump did it, but Joe Biden wasn't the president.
Right.
Why do you have declassified information? And especially when
that's a very good point.
That's the only point. And that's the thing that it misses, right? Like your CNNs, even your Fox News, who has become lately kind of a flip-floppy place. We'll talk
Except
about
when Billy Prep is on there.
Except when Billy and Tucker. I like Tucker.
Tucker's nice.
Tucker's all right.
Tucker's all right.
Tucker's all right.
Yeah, I don't got a problem with Tucker.
But they talk about, he's got this declassified information, it's not that big of a deal, but the point is he shouldn't have had it anyway. And the fingers are starting to point to the fact that this was all really in dealing with your son and what you did. So where does the line get drawn? When do we actually draw the line? And when do they make a statement on this? When do they actually prosecute him? Is he going to have his Delaware house raided?
You know what? I think he should have all of his houses raided. I think everything. I'm like, listen, you did it to Trump. It's one thing if you did it with one document, you did it 3 times. You got to be rated at this point. I think it's only fair
Shame
that
on
you
you.
get rated, right? If the not even the House Republicans, even the House Democrats should be looking at this and be like, okay, we just really burned the house down for Trump.
Yep.
You kind of got your feet to the fire where you got to burn this guy's house down now. The same way you did it with Donald Trump.
Absolutely. And we will obviously stay on this, and if more develops, we'll be here next week. But in other news, moving on,
it gets crazy.
Democrats denied absurd allegations that the border was sanitized. Now, if some of you don't know this, after 2 years, Uncle Joe finally decided to take a visit to our wide open, distraught border.
After all this time.
2 years. That's a lot of time. And now, there were some photos that were placed out that said that the border was cleaned up. For those of you that haven't been following along, like me and Billy have, here's a video of what it looked like New Year's Day in El Paso, Texas.
Apóyennos, por favor, para el pasaje.
Word. Bro, looks like Skid Row.
It doesn't look great.
No.
Definitely doesn't look like a place I'd want to visit.
Probably smells like sweat.
It's bad out there. Okay, so that's 1-1. right?
Right.
Okay, the next slide will show you a direct comparison of what you're just seeing. And this isn't doctored footage. Me and Billy we're good. We're not that good.
I wish I could Photoshop like this.
So what do we have here, Billy?
So the day that Joe Biden came to El Paso, this was this past Thursday.
This past
right?
Thursday.
This is what he was shown on television.
That looks nice.
Beautiful, right? You can,
Really,
I
really
mean, I
nice.
wouldn't eat food off the floor, but it's all right.
It's up there.
It's up there.
I've eaten in worse places.
Hey, you know what I mean? I've lived under a bridge before.
Come on now.
But Wednesday, the day prior, look at the bedlam that's going on in the middle of the street. Trash, basura, all over the place.
Are those people?
No, it looks like just straight up trash, honestly.
I think those are people.
If that's people, then man.
Either way, right? You have the fence there. You have all that stuff, the garbage cans. Like that is a direct representation. And here's what we were seeing that Tuesday and Wednesday, right before Joe decided to take a visit.
Yeah.
And what else? What else? We got a bunch of pictures.
And after the fact. And the funny thing is, like, they
Wow.
closed it off.
That looks nice. But first of all, don't you think it's weird? There's no people either, right? Yeah, you cleaned up the trash, but there's no signs of life. Like, you know, but that's the reality of what's going on. This
Which
is
sad too, bro.
But this is what people need to see and understand. And I've talked about this with you a lot. We, especially, like, we're fortunate for where we live. You know, we live in the north. And a lot of people that either think like us or don't see the problem at the border because it's so far away.
Right.
We're not worried about immigration. We're not worried about the people coming over because it doesn't directly affect us. But the people that live in El Paso, Texas, this is what they have to see. And we have another video, too, before Biden showed up.
This one was done by DailyMail.com. And it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse because the truth is, all that really needs to be done is, Joe, secure the border, hire more border agents, close these loopholes that allow a bunch of random asylum seekers to come into the city, because the mayor of El Paso had to declare a state of emergency several days prior to this even taking place.
But why? Because Joe's coming.
You can't even walk down the block.
You know what this reminds me of?
Well,
And-
no. He declared the state of emergency before Joe Biden even came.
Right.
Because this look at the city. You know what I mean?
But
So
did he do it
this was
because Biden was coming?
This was before. This was like maybe like a week or two before
Yeah, but
Biden
you
even
know,
came.
but a president got to get clearance. You got to know. You don't just Joe didn't just wake up on Wednesday and go, "I'm going to El Paso."
Right.
They knew about this,
But they didn't clean until 24 hours before he got there.
right, because you wanted to make it spotless. Now, I know my mom is probably watching, but look, I've thrown house parties that looked like El Paso after on Wednesday, and when she showed up on Thursday, it looked like when Joe Biden was
Never
coming.
happened.
No one was here.
Not a
Nothing
single bottle
happened.
cap.
I slept.
Clear.
I actually took an online course. Like, it was wonderful.
Totally empty.
Absolutely.
Udemy.com.
But people need to realize, like, that's exactly what happened. And the American people are being played. And we have, where is it? You're being played for a sheep.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, that's exactly.
That's why we got the soundboard. It's over. We wait.
Oh, we have today. So, guys, like we told you last week, we have a random item of the day. And today's random item of the
Boom.
day is brought to us by
Silverback Cigar Crew. Now, it's actually pretty cool. We met Silverback Cigar Crew at Billy's
At my
event.
kickoff in
last
2021.
kickoff. Yeah, your last kickoff for 2021. Silverback actually is right here in Patterson. They are local, small business owned, and they had an entire, like a pop-up tent. They came through. They had
Whole
the tent. It was really cool. They had a bunch of set, and they do flavored specialty cigars.
And he's got like 30 different flavors.
It was crazy. I was probably like, I'm a Libra. I can't make up my
Libra
mind.
too.
And
I
yeah,
know you're a Libra.
Yay!
Hey, let's go.
This is just getting better. but you know, having 30.
I'm a Libra too.
Oh, it's over.
That's right.
I wish there was a button, but
Oh,
there's
my God,
not.
anything
We
epic.
haven't gotten this
We don't
far.
have anything epic. We
There's
don't-
nothing epic.
I
Juan, for
got
next
it.
week we need an
I
epic.
forgot the air
Damn,
horns.
son.
I forgot the air
Damn,
horns.
son.
That's
Close
it.
enough.
So, anyways, this is dope. Yo, is Hogan a Libra?
Hogan's a rescue dog. I have no idea. Where he was
Hogan's a
born.
Libra. That's all right. We're
Yeah.
gonna go. So anyway,
Hogan looks
Silverback Cigar Crew. We met them. Their cigars were amazing. I fell in love with the milk cream cigars, as did
the
you.
best.
That's probably one of the best
I
cigars.
mean, they're all great, but
They're all great,
that one
but
right there is
that
where it's at.
is my go-to. And the coolest thing about them, and the reason why we wanted to spotlight them, one, they're a small business. Two, they're local here in Patterson. But they deliver. Right? You can follow them on Instagram, Silverback Cigar Crew. You can message the guy. He is super awesome. He actually just dropped these off for us right before the show, and they get delivered to you in these really cool packs. Now, you might think this is just blue plastic.
Nope.
But the coolest thing about this is a portable humidifier, right?
Never gets dry.
Never. So look, when I first got into cigars, I didn't have a humidifier. I just was, buy one at a time, and they would go bad, and I'd throw them out, and it's a waste of money. But this you can buy and actually keep them in here. And he told me that these will last up to 6 months in this.
Time.
So you can reach out. Shout out to our random thing of the week, Silverback Cigar Crew. They hooked us up with some Grand Marnier.
Yeah.
This is
Grand Marnier.
Grand Marnier.
This one
it's
is,
French for delicious.
Oh, the milk cream. This
Nah,
one.
don't be those are mine. That's just a prop. Those are my cigars.
Yeah.
But shout out to the Silverback Cigar Crew, a small local business here in
Black-owned
Patterson.
business as well.
Black owned. I can't say that.
Yeah, you can. You're an American.
Black-owned business.
Let's go.
Let's go. No, they're really awesome. The guy is super cool. And, if you are a cigar person or you know someone that is, it's a great gift. And like I said, it'll get sent directly to your house. First-class mail.
That's
really
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
So, moving on.
Oh! Talk about some disgusting
This
stuff.
is a doozy.
Yeah, so guys, if you guys got kids in the room, you might want to tell them to slide out of the room for a second.
You think kids are watching this?
They should. Well, they should be because, listen, I don't know if you're going to
Those
get
are
any
some.
of this.
Those are some awake-ass kids.
Kids are getting pretty smart
It's
these
8
days.
p.m. on a Thursday, and you're watching Dave and Billy.
Ain't
Shout
that
out to
something?
you, little
Right.
kid.
Shout out to the children. Shout out to
you.
the teenagers, the young adults that are trying to expand their mindset and learn some new things. But
Start them young.
sadly, the children that are starting young and are trying to expand their mindsets in school,
Hmm.
many people are hearing about teachers and leaders inside of our school system that are grooming our children, right?
Nah, that's a conspiracy. Come on, Billy. This is conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy truth, okay?
Ooh,
as
I
much
like
as I
that.
don't,
I like that.
I coined that.
I like that.
As much as I don't want to say that it's a conspiracy truth, here in the city of Chicago, well, not here, we're in Patterson, New Jersey, but in Chicago, there's over 700 cases of children that have been groomed, sexually assaulted.
Wait, can you say
raped.
that number again?
Over 700
Seven
children.
with 2 zeros at the end?
Yes.
That's a lot of
Yes.
kids.
For perspective, 700 entire high school graduating class.
My graduating class in East Brunswick was 800, and that's
Mine was
ginormous.
1,200.
Holy crap.
We were, the hood.
Did you guys share textbooks?
We didn't go to class.
Hey, yo.
Which is bad because the education.
This button was the worst idea.
Oh,
That was perfect.
That was
perfect
stupid.
timing. Perfect timing. But listen, man.
That's why we're out here making podcasts, trying to make a living. We didn't go to school.
Hey, look, man. I went to the Air Force. I'll be all right.
No, you're good.
But well, next thing of the week, we got to talk about El Toro. We
Yeah,
gotta bring it
maybe.
up,
They gotta pay up.
Good quesadillas there. But we're going a little off topic
Off
here.
topic. Kids being
Kids.
groomed.
Yes. So now, listen, I hear from a lot of people,
Mm.
especially in LGBT community, say, "Oh, well, we're not grooming the kids." No one's saying that you are,
Mm.
right? And the problem that I have with that is especially the people that are in the LGBT community. If you don't condone this, if you don't want to deal with this is the time to start speaking out and actually start speaking out on behalf of these kids. And I'm starting to see a lot of
Go to a Board of Ed meeting.
and you know what? But you know what I will say though, and I will give them credit for this. The Gays Against Groomers are really starting to grow quite a bit right now. They're going to these school board meetings.
And not to jump in front of you, but I wanted to piggyback off that. And, a lot of people called this a conspiracy. A lot of people
Right.
called us anti this, anti. First of all, I'm going to make it very clear. I'm not anti any LGBTQ. This is America. If that's what you want to be, and those are the choices you want to make, I'm okay with that. I know not every conservative agrees with that talking point, but that's personally me. I grew up in a different type of lifestyle. But I think the biggest concern here has to be the fact that these are children.
Yes.
They're not even teenagers. And I think you can't see it because it's a screenshot, but majority of these children that these allegations are against are between the ages of 6 and 11 years old.
Now, you know what's the worst part about that, bro? The long-term and the long-lasting effects that are going to happen on these children. Children that are 6 years old, you're traumatized for life. You got to deal with that.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around 6. Do you remember what you were doing at 11? It wasn't talking about sex. It
At
wasn't.
11, I was probably
Bro, I was playing
wrestling in
Pokemon
the
Red
backyard or
version.
something.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kid stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that it needs to get back to this, right? I'm again, I don't think this should be a public school talking point whatsoever, period. But even if, let's just say, the progressive movement moves in that direction where it's something that it does happen, maybe make it an elective for kids in high school. Something that they know what it's going to be and they decide they want to sign up.
Opt-in.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I know Project Veritas just went to a school in Chicago. This is before the report happened.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, you didn't see this video?
Oh, is this the one with the superintendent?
The superintendent.
Oh, disgusting.
The superintendent in a school in Chicago. And again, if you have kids in the room, I'm sorry, but this is the stuff that's happening that nobody's talking about. A superintendent was bragging and was proud that he was holding a class of kids between the ages of 11 and 14, teaching them about gay sex, passing around sex toys,
Oh God!
talking about things like how lube is better than spit. Like, and I'm sorry for the graphic details. And if it makes you uncomfortable as a grown person
Imagine
watching
the
this,
kids.
that's the point. Like, it made me uncomfortable to say it to a camera in a room with you. Like,
It's already weird you're saying
it's
it to me.
weird. It's weird, right? It's not me being anti anybody's agenda.
No.
Like, I find passing out sex toys to minors a criminal offense.
It should be.
It
It honestly
should be.
should be. It honestly should be.
Well, that kind of steamrolls into, you see what California is trying to do as far as this underage kind of activity. They want to change the word pedophile. It's not a word anymore. They want to call them
Minor-
MAPS.
Oh, a minor attracted.
Minor attracted person, because it's not a crime to do sexually explicit things with children
This
because
is so
it's
weird, this
because it's a
conversation right now.
mental disorder.
Yeah.
Right. So again, I suffered from addiction, which is it's a mental disorder, right? But I'm pretty sure if I did something like breaking the law, that I would have consequences for
100%.
it.
I
Right.
mean, if they caught you with whatever it was, it's a wrap.
If you are clinically insane, which is a medical disorder, and you murder somebody, it's still murder.
Right.
Not because you're insane, it's not murder. And the truth is, again, and I'm not attacking anyone's belief system here, but the reality is, teaching kids like this, it has to stop. It can't continue going. 700 allegations, and did you tell them this was just for the year?
That's right. That's just for a year.
1 year
That's just for the year. That's for 2022.
in
That's it.
just Chicago.
So now imagine what's going on all across the schools. You hear about them doing the drag queen story time or whatever in libraries and restaurants, and some people are like, well, who cares if the parents are bringing their kids? You want your kids to be sitting on the laps of grown men with makeup pretending to be something that they're absolutely not while they're reading the books and pretending that it's all innocent? Then you can be the insano.
Right,
But
like
don't
if
bring
you're
that to our
if
kids.
you're an adult and that's what you like to do, then that's fine. And I think that's where the line has been blurred, and they have tried to label conservatives that we're hateful and we don't like this. And it's like, no, when you're an adult, you can make a decision, right?
Whatever you want.
You can do whatever it is you want when you're 21 years old. You can do whatever it is you want when you're 18 years old. But 12 and 13-year-old kids, like, they don't know better, right? I tell the story all the time. Like, a lot of people know I'm covered in tattoos.
That's
and
good tattoo, by the way. You got to show that.
Oh,
real quick.
that we the people?
We the
Yay.
people.
I tell the story all the time, right? When I was 15 or 16 years old, my mom was getting a tattoo. And I remember, I'm like, Ma, I want to get a tattoo. And she's like, well, what do you want? And back at the time, I was into classic rock. And you listen to Led Zeppelin before.
Yeah.
Right? They had this swan song angel. It was this angel. And I was like, I want it on my
I know what you're
back.
talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
on the
the one that's like
posters.
flying up.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted it on my back. And I'm like, this is rad as hell. And my mom is like, you do not
That's
want this
too much.
tattoo.
You'd
And I'm
regret
like, I'm telling you, I want this tattoo. And she goes, all right, I'll tell you what. In 6 months, if you still want the tattoo, I'll take you and I'll pay for it. I said, deal. Of course I'm going to want it. I wanted it for the rest of my life. You don't think I'm going to want it in 6 months? 6 months go by, and my mom came up to me, and she's like, all right, let's go. I'm like, where are we going? So we're going to go to get that tattoo. I was like, Ma, that was the stupidest thing I've ever thought of.
Bro.
So, again, if my mind would change that way, or my mind was so malleable, like just because I came across music that I liked, that I was willing to do life-changing
Right.
something, that's kind of the logic of let kids grow, let them come into their own, and let them make those decisions. It should not be on the
100%.
publicly funded school systems to put that on them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, I'm going to let you take this one.
Oh, you guys hate the IRS. I'm pretty sure you at home also hate the IRS.
They're not bad.
What are you out of your mind?
Hey,
The IRS.
taxation is theft.
Taxation absolutely is theft.
I'm gonna
Listen,
say that.
If you got to pay tax, you got to pay tax. It is what it is, right? But the House Republicans came up, and initially it was they wanted to defund the 87,000 the 70+ billion that was going to finance the 87,000 additional IRS agents that were going to be coming after you and everything inside your pocket.
Because no, they're only coming after the millionaires and billionaires.
that
Billy.
is a straight up cap. Okay?
No, come on. Would the government lie to you?
There's less than 10,000 or so millionaires in the United States?
It makes up less than the 1%. It's a very, very,
Correct.
very small number.
So you need 87,000 on top of the IRS agents you already got to go and hunt down these millionaires?
Well, you want to know something funny, and what people don't realize is that the IRS is not talking directly to these millionaires. If you're that rich, if the IRS is coming for you, you're talking to a lawyer and a legal team and your manager.
Right.
So to say that you need 87,000 IRS agents when there's probably not even 87,000 millionaires.
No, hell no. No, not
You
even
know?
close.
The truth of the matter is that I 100% agree with what this Republican Congress is trying to do. This IRS bill was to come directly for people like me, the small business owner, the restaurant. You know, why is it, you know, and we touched on this last time, why is it that the Department of Defense can lose 65% of their fucking $2 trillion budget, but you want to know why Billy Venmo'd me $601?
Right? Anything over that, and you're a suspect.
You're completely audited.
Now, here's the best part, though.
Wait,
bro.
why'd you give him 600?
Hey, don't worry about it,
stop
Juan.
asking questions, you fed.
Shh.
What are you, a fed?
Yo, I mean, he might be. I'm just
He's a
kidding.
fed?
I'm just kidding.
Then we're gonna have to
It
find
was
a
for
new-
cigars.
we gotta find a new studio. But here's the best part. Here's the best part about them wanting to do this. They don't just want to get rid of the 87,000 IRS agents.
What?
They want to abolish the IRS as a whole. Oh, yeah.
I like that.
But it takes...
And eliminate income tax.
Yes, they want to replace the well, not just the income tax,
Right.
income tax, payroll tax, all tax essentially, and they want to replace it with a single flat tax essentially. And I'll even go on a limb for a second and say something. Real
Okay.
quick. I was never a proponent of raising the minimum wage only because I already know the extent of damage.
You raise the
across
wage, you
economy.
raise the price of everything. It
Correct.
goes on, so on and so forth.
I had
Right.
this discussion with one of my friends, Mike Anderson, and he told me, he was like, if the only time we're raising the minimum wage would actually make sense is if we have a flat tax. And I'm like, explain that to me.
Right. Because the common, and I'll let you finish, but the common people don't understand that the more you make, the more
you
they
get
take.
taxed.
So if you go from making $10 an hour to $15 an hour, you've now bumped yourself into another tax bracket, which now will probably take you from being 30 to 35% taxed to 40% tax.
Right. Well, it's obviously a little bit higher. but
Obviously
I get your
equating you
gauge.
back to making the same amount of money.
Correct. Now, now with the flat tax, like let's say a flat tax of say, I think the analogy we were talking about was like let's say a 15% flat tax
Right.
across the board, payroll, everything like that.
Yeah.
It's all that 15%, right? I think it's reasonable in this situation
More
to
than
raise the minimum
reasonable,
wage
yeah.
because everybody's paying it. Even the people that are poor are paying this 15%. The reason why I say that is because like now businesses, you have the opportunity to do one of two things. Because if you raise the minimum wage, you still have to pay the taxes, you still got to pay the benefits and everything, and you got to go fire people to stay profitable. But if your tax burden has been, is it me or are you hearing like guitar music or something?
I think it's your phone.
I don't listen to guitar music. Why is this playing right now? This
Yo,
is-
Billy listening to some Michael Bolton. Damn, he hit it before me. Yo,
But, I'm on it, man.
So precise, yo.
Right? I'm on it. But damn, I lost my train of thought, bro.
Michael Bolton.
Michael Bowen. Yo, I'm surprised you even know about me and my brother used to clown
I
Michael
am
Bowen when we were
white.
kids.
I did.
I thought you were Cuban.
The feds listen, bro.
Wait, he's Cuban?
He's
Yeah,
Cuban.
bro.
His last name's Herrera.
Hey, you just put out my whole government. Oh my god.
Listen, man, you ran for office.
That's
They
true.
know your name.
This is true. This
know
is
your
true.
name.
This is true.
What was I talking about?
The flat tax.
Flat tax, right?
Flat tax.
If they would reduce the flat tax, like, let me just wrap this up. You can go to the next slide.
No, it's fine. We're rolling.
They wrap this up. If they're able to reduce the flat tax to about 15%,
Right.
Now the business owner has a lot more money to play with. They can
Yes.
either hire more employees or pay you a more reasonable living wage.
100%.
And productivity stays exactly the same.
I agree. And I want to
That's the only
jump.
time where
I
I
just
think it
want to
makes
jump
sense.
in on this because there will be the naysayers that go, the millionaires should be taxed more.
Why?
You know, no. But hear me out. And while I might agree with that sentiment, right? 19-year-old Dave that believed everything should be free,
Yeah, no.
right? You know, I would agree with that
Socialist
sentiment.
Dave.
But I'm Cuban. I can't help it. It's in the genetics, dog.
I saw that
Damn,
joke.
son.
I saw that joke coming.
Hey, it's coming. But no, the truth is that look, the millionaires and the billionaires are not paying their taxes
No.
the way that we think they are. Sure, they pay, but they're finding loopholes. So you can continue to raise it and think that, you know, like all these Green New Deals, all this stuff that the 118th Congress or the 117th Congress wanted to pass and say, oh, if we tax the millionaires and billionaires, this stuff will happen. The truth is they're finding loopholes, you know, and I wish we had this clip, but Dave Chappelle just did a stand-up and he was like, and anybody who knows Dave Chappelle knows he's not a fan of Trump, right? Not a fan. And he came out and he goes, you know why I respect Trump and you know why all these people do? He goes, Trump is the first. Everybody knew what was going on in the House.
Right.
Everybody knew that there was corruption. Everybody knew that they were stealing, but we could never put a finger on it.
Right.
And Trump is the first dude that came out and was like, they stealing in there and they cheating the tax code. And it was on live TV and they're like, Mr. Trump, what's your proof? And he's like, well, I'm doing it too.
Right.
And then he went back in the house.
Right.
He went back inside and kept doing it. So if you think that raising these taxes is going to benefit, it actually puts more of a burden because there's only two things in life that are certain: death and taxes. And if you create a tax code,
Well, for now, unless it passes,
that's true.
which it probably won't.
It
Because
will hopefully, but when you create the tax raise, right, Billy? All it's going to do is that you're going to have a number that needs to be reached. And if people aren't going to pay into that system, who do you think pays it? The people that don't know how to exploit the loopholes,
Exactly.
like me and you.
Well, I'm not gonna say I exploit it, but
Easy.
I pay a lot of
Juan's
taxes.
listening.
Yo, you're right. Fed. FBI.
So while we're ready to think that the Republican Congress is going to do this groundbreaking legislation that's going to, remove these 87,000
Yeah.
people, abolish the income tax and the payroll tax, what is the White House talking about, Billy?
So before it's even really been completely
It's not even on paper.
put up for consideration, the White House already threatens to veto the GOP and the bill that would rescind that $72 billion. No, you have to give the IRS $72 billion so they can come back for you, which is ludicrous to me. This is a bill, and this is a guy who talked about the Inflation Reduction Act, or as I call it, the Inflation Creation Act. You added $1 trillion and some change to our economy. We're going to have to pay for that. My kids are going to have to pay for that. Your kids are going to pay for that. Juan's kids are going to have to pay for that. If Hogan was a human, you're lucky you're a dog, he'd have to pay
I'm
for it.
surprised they don't do pet tax.
Shut up. Don't even bring
Stop
it
it.
up. Joe Biden's like, it's actually a good idea. We should totally do that. No.
I got a dog once when I lived in Pennsylvania. His name was Scrappy. I was just trying to play what I think Joe Biden. All right.
Stupid.
I know. Sorry.
It's all good.
My bad. So what do you think this means?
So what it means is like Joe Biden. Oh, and that's another thing. My opponent from 2020 and 2022.
Sleeping Bill Pasquarello?
The basement Bill Pascal.
Basement.
Bill.
Technically, right now.
Because we're in the basement.
Shit.
You giving my location out?
How the tables
You
have
gave
turned.
out my government and my nationality.
How the
I'm over
tables-
here like
How the tables have turned.
the tables have turned. Michael Scott. How the turntables have turned.
But he's going on, bro. First off, the guy's a madhouse, man. He's going on talking about how if they repeal this or they're able to remove this, then the government's gonna lose a lot of money. We're gonna put a deficit of billions of dollars on the American taxpayer if you remove this. And I'm like, how are you gonna put a deficit on the American taxpayer if we're literally trying to cut back on the taxes by preventing the Americans from paying so much of the tax? What is the incentive for them to do that? It's just like the Born Alive bill, I believe it was. I just voted on not too long ago, and I should have put that up. My opponent,
For another week.
right? My opponent. So basically, the Born Alive bill basically is like if a child is born. I mean, if an abortion is done,
A failed abortion.
failed abortion, and the
Right.
baby doesn't die in the abortion, and praise God, the baby survives. The bill basically states that you have to, perform aid to that baby and ensure that the baby, is able to survive. If it
Because,
didn't die
it's-
in an
because
abortion,
it was born and it technically is alive
Correct.
at this point. Yeah?
right? Before that, babies would just sit on the table, freeze to death, and die, and it would kill it off or whatever, cut up the parts, same old stuff, right?
That sounds terrible.
Bill Pascrell goes out and says, well, this is a complete annihilation and attack on women's freedom and women's rights. Listen, if the woman wanted the abortion and you got the abortion, okay?
It happened.
Now there's a living, breathing, moving thing that's on, not even thing, moving, breathing, living baby.
Human.
That's on the table, human
Right.
baby, right? That's alive. And you want to kill that baby.
But see, now
for the
here's
woman's rights,
so
apparently.
now here's the thing. Like these are the kind of bills that they want $72 billion for, things that are not. And again, this is where I believe the huge contrast comes between conservatives and liberals, right? While I don't agree with either of what they do all of the time, the conservative leads with, I believe, today's conservative, because it wasn't always like
No,
the
no,
George
no.
Bush conservative
That's
was
like
a
the
lot.
neocons.
That was different.
I hate
But
those
today's
people.
conservatives are trying to write bills that are going to directly impact you, your family, your bank account, your livelihood. And they vote on bills that you may not agree with because they're not flashy and they don't, there's no rallies for them, but they're getting things done. And then you have the opposition on the other side that votes based on feelings, because I've learned after 2 election cycles that people do vote based on emotion.
Correct.
And that bill right there is an emotional based bill.
Yeah.
And you can't govern that way. It's cool to have conversations like this about it, but things like that are not leading us into a positive direction, I believe.
No.
So,
Mr.
Oh.
Demon himself.
I'm gonna let you take this. I don't like this guy. I'm gonna hit the vape.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Hang on, pause for a second. Let me kind of preface this for a little bit. For the people that don't know who this demonic gentleman over here is.
Who is he?
He's a freaking ancient Babylonian Canaanite devil-worshipping demon from the ninth circle of hell. This guy.
Sick.
This is Klaus Schwab. Klaus
Schwab.
Schwab Klaus Schwab from Deutschland. Is he from Deutschland? I don't know where he's from.
I'm just going to assume, yeah, because
His
I
name's
don't know.
Schwab, so he's
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
from
yeah.
Deutschland. Anyway, I'm joking too much. This guy right here, Bad News Bears. Klaus Schwab, one of the leaders of the World Economic Forum. This is one of the guys that's telling you, like, oh, in the future, you're not going to own anything and you're going to like it. You're going to rent it. They're talking about how they're going to try and reshape the world for humanity. For the people that aren't paying attention.
Like a new world
Right.
order?
Like a conspiracy.
That sounds crazy.
Damn, son.
Where's the tinfoil hat? Yo, no, but a year ago, if you'd have said that without this video that we're about to play, you would be deemed a nut job.
Right. And it's nothing nutty
You
about
still
it.
will be, even with video evidence.
Because the sheep will watch. We're
Where
gonna put
is
this.
it?
We're gonna put this video. The sheep one, last one. Yep. There we go. There you go. The thing is, at the watch this video gets uploaded, and there's gonna be like some kind of disclaimer, like they're talking madness. Don't listen to anything they're talking about. They're lying.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain from the 1934 Wizard of Oz.
Correct. Hey, I like, yeah.
That's one of my favorite movies.
Pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario
So
of a
cringe.
comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring
Look at the
to a
hand
complete
movement.
halt
Look
Very
familiar?
to
reminiscent.
the
I know, right?
power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen
COVID-19.
in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack.
July 8th,
To
2020.
use the COVID-19 crisis as a timely opportunity to reflect on the lessons the cybersecurity community can draw and improve our preparedness for a potential cyber pandemic.
This guy right here, for those of you guys that don't know, like remember Dr. Evil from like the Austin Powers films? Yeah.
1 billion.
This guy is for real. He's
That
dead
is the
serious.
real Dr. Evil?
This guy is legit. Like he's really like a pretty bad dude. This guy just told you about how they got to take advantage of a pandemic, right? A short-term inconvenience like COVID-19.
2 weeks.
Correct.
Ah.
Then he talks about how the country or how the world would react to a cybersecurity attack. The reason why I bring this up is now this is something he said July 8th, 2020. He said way more off-the-wall stuff. But
Since.
Yeah. Since. And if go to the next clip, I want to talk about this next bit here. No, that's enough out of you, Mr. Deutschland. Okay. Now the thing is,
Yesterday.
yes. So for those of you guys that may not know this, just about every flight in the United States is not taking off. Flights can only land in the United States right now. Every single
No, they
plane,
canceled almost everything yesterday.
right? But
yeah.
correct. But there's still planes that have been well,
Right.
maybe at this point. Yes.
Yeah, no, now.
Maybe at this point,
Right.
yes. But all of these flights are being grounded right now, and they're saying it's because of some kind of glitch. Now, the airline industry has existed for God knows how long, right? Before I was like even a thought
50,
in my
60
father's
years,
mind.
yeah.
Right. Before I even thought about it. This is the first time in my like Delta is having an issue.
Right.
Or Spirit Airlines is probably a little bit more believable. No shade.
Yo,
on
I tell
Spirit.
you
They
what,
come
I
through
don't know.
sometimes.
I don't know.
What, Spirit?
Spirit's not bad.
That's what I'm saying. They come through sometimes. That's why I take that back. Let me take that back. JetBlue. You guys are scumbags though.
I don't know.
I don't like JetBlue.
Hold on. I just flew.
Actually, no, it's United.
Who did-
Sorry, not JetBlue.
I just flew United.
Scumbags.
Bruh.
They're human
worst.
traffickers, bro.
Are they?
Bro, I didn't tell you about what happened when I
And
came
you know
out
what
from the
they
border?
did? They done took away the extent. Remember back in the day? As a sidebar, but
Yeah.
you remember back
This
in the day,
sidebar hard as hell
like
right
people like me and Billy, they'd see you on the plane, they'd be like, "Excuse me, sir, would you two strapping gentlemen like to sit in the exit row in the event of a crash?"
go.
And you'd be like, "Hell yeah, I'll sit there and I will save everybody." Now they want to charge you $140 to sit in the exit row, and they put me in a seat where I felt like I was on a Chinese train.
Nah.
It was so bad. I got pushed in by the flight attendant. I was literally sitting there. She smacked my knee. You ever watch The Wedding Singer where the elbow gets hit by the cart?
Yeah.
I felt like Julia Gulia on the plane. It was the worst. It was all right. Anyway, they
yeah,
suck.
we're
Don't
sidebar
fly
hard.
United.
Yes,
Terrible.
United human traffickers.
Suck.
When I came back from the border, just real quick, just kind of sidebar. I thought I told you the story. Came back from the border.
Right.
When me, Jasmine, and and Darius came back from the border.
Yeah.
I bought a round trip ticket to the border.
Okay.
Right? First class. I'm a big dude. Need long legs. Same thing.
Hell
I'm talking
yeah, I
about,
get
right?
it.
So fly down there, no problem.
Right.
On the way back, they say your ticket is of no value. You can't use your ticket.
Hey,
and I'm like,
yo.
why can't you use my ticket? Like, oh, we just can't. There's no value. I lost my noggin for about 3-4 hours.
I
right?
believe it.
They finally let us in and said, well, we'll give you the emergency seat, and we'll kind of give you a refund. Right? Refund never happened. Total scam. If they ever say they're gonna give a refund, no, just get your money right there and book with another airline.
Yeah, for sure.
These dudes, bro, I get inside the plane, right? And mind you, every time we went to the airport, right, whether it was to go pick up a rental or when we first landed or whatever, there's always a bunch of these illegal immigrants, right? And I know they're illegal. They're all dressed the same. They're all wearing the same clothes, all that stuff, right?
Right.
I come into the plane to fly back to Patterson. We'll fly back to Newark. And there's 3 of these maybe 11, probably 14-year-old illegal kids sitting in first class in my seat, dressed like everyone else. So I'm like, I know you did not pay $1,200 for this flight.
Somebody gave it to him.
I wonder who, right? Me, right? Because now I had to go sit in the nosebleeds in the back. Anyway, we're sidebarring. Next topic. Don't fly United. You guys are human traffickers. I can't stand you.
You know what? But the truth is I probably had the same amount of room as somebody that was being trafficked, like on that plane. Like I felt like I was in a bag. It was bad. And their in-flight meal was either this stupid Stroot waffle or this other cookie.
Those aren't that good.
No, but the cookie wasn't bad. I forget the name of it.
Stroot
but
waffle just tastes really.
It's stupid.
It tastes silly.
It's a caramel waffle cone piece of
waffle. Yeah, it's like an ice cream.
Step
cone or something.
for $300 for a one-way ticket. You could offer me something better than a Stroot
like
waffle.
a Godiva piece of chocolate or something.
Ice cream. I don't know.
Ice cream.
Don't give me a dirty look when I ask for coffee and water either. Like, really, sir? Like, yeah.
Flying in the airlines at one point in the past used to be a very luxurious experience. Like, oh, look, we're in the air. Now it's like I just want to get off this damn thing.
You know what? I tell you what though, if you haven't flown international, the flights are better. The planes are better for international flights.
Because I mean, come on, you got to fly.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
domestic, nope, no United. You suck.
But anyway, we digress. Speaking about flying things, here with United States Air Force Brigadier General, I'm not certain what
We're
his last
apparently flying a lot of things over to Ukraine. We're going to play this video for you right now. We'll hear what he has to say.
Look at what we're about to do for
Also,
Ukraine.
as was
This should piss
briefly
you off.
highlighted last week during the announcement of the most recent presidential drawdown authorization, I can confirm that training for Ukrainian forces on the Patriot air defense system will begin as soon as next week at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. The training will prepare approximately 90 to 100 Ukrainian soldiers to operate, maintain, and sustain the defensive system over a training course expected to last several months. And once fielded, the Patriot will continue to contribute to Ukraine's air defense capabilities and provide another capability to the Ukrainian people to defend themselves against Russia's ongoing aerial assaults. We'll be sure to provide additional information as it becomes available.
Now,
You stupid.
that's very stupid.
What's 9 plus 10?
21.
You stupid.
Also, as was brief.
That's enough out of you.
I don't want to listen to you anymore.
Right. Let me
ahead,
give you
please.
some perspective here.
I want some.
It's extremely expensive to train military personnel member, right?
I'm sure it is.
Costs a lot of money. About $30,000 per troop, for example, right?
Yeah.
Just for perspective.
Right.
We're about to train 98 of these people. They're not even American. Just one Patriot missile battery, right? Battery meaning like an assembly of these things.
Right.
About $38 billion.
What
Just
was that number?
Let me say that again.
Huh?
$38 billion.
Oh, what? Lil Jon voice.
What?
For those of you who don't know, Lil Jon was pretty
One
popular.
missile.
$38 billion.
Yeah.
So on top of the
But hang on though, we're not done yet.
yeah.
Now, just one missile that goes inside one of those batteries, it's about $3 to $4 million. Now, how many of those are we giving? Now on top of that, we just gave Ukraine about $140 billion right now. So now we've given these guys billions of our money, our dollars, our tax
Your
dollars
money.
that the next generation is going to have to pay for. They hired IRS agents to come take money out of your pocket. They're bringing foreigners here into the United States and training them on our missiles, giving them our weapons that we paid for. Ukraine, not in a million years, would give us money for this. No country outside of the United States would give us money to go and do anything like this. Yet America has somehow become the piggy bank of the world to go and fund and finance all these proxy wars while we constantly get screwed. The next generation is being buried alive because of madness like this.
Well, now it kind of makes sense why you need 87,000 IRS agents because we got to get more money.
Yeah, from you.
In the year of 2022, we gave a foreign country $140 billion, not including these weapons, this training, and all the other aid that we plan. And we don't have a slide for it, but just so you know, Congress wants to put a model bust of President Zelensky inside our Congress.
And it's a Republican that wants to do this jerk. It's
Who?
I can't remember his name, but he's a Republican.
You find out and you shout him
I'll
out.
look it up right now. It's a Republican.
But the point is this is a country that wanted to rip down statues of George Washington, because of his past, and do all this other stuff. But you want to erect a statue of a guy like President Zelensky, which, didn't he just ban like Orthodox Christianity in Ukraine because it had
Zelensky did this?
Yes, you didn't know about this?
This I'm not aware of.
Oh my
I know
God!
about the
Wake up!
I know about the Azov Battalion. and all that
No,
rabbit hole, but I don't know about
he
that.
banned certain religious practices like Orthodox Christianity because primarily Orthodox Christianity is Russian citizens. So you want to talk about how this guy is a humanitarian, you want to put him on Vogue with his wife, or just weird. Like, you're in the middle of a war and you have time to take pictures on Vogue. That's a question in itself. But when are people going to wake up? Like, I've seen more people in the last year with the I Stand With Ukraine sticker on their car than I've seen American flags on the car. And look, I'm not anti-Ukraine, right?
Bro, hang on, pause for a second, bro. I don't give a shit about the rest of the world, okay?
Facts.
I care about America.
America
I'm an
first.
American. The money that I pay goes to America. I don't want that money going to Africa. I don't want to go into India. I don't want to go into Pakistan. I don't want to go into Israel. I don't want to go into Ukraine. I don't want to go into anyone but the United States. This is our money. We fought for this.
Especially when things are so screwed up here. I could see if America the economy was booming and the border was secure and people weren't dropping. No.
No, screw that. No.
I do see. Look,
no.
the reason that America is great is because of the fact that people do reach out for us for a beacon of hope. But you can't turn around. And when you have homeless veterans on the street,
that's my
you
point,
have
man.
you have drug addicts dropping like flies without treatment in sight, but we open shoot-up centers for them. You have inflation through the roof. You have energy independence, not energy dependence, right? We're relying on socialist Venezuela now for oil. You have literally a clown show government from top to bottom, all the way down to people like Phil Murphy. We're seeing the country in shambles, right? People can't even decide if they're a cat or not, right? This is what we're dealing with, and we're sending $140 billion to another country.
By the way, the congressman, it's South Carolina Republican Congressman Joe Wilson. What are you doing? What are you doing, man?
Where is it?
What are you doing?
Jerk.
Yeah, man. What are you doing?
No. Look, I'm all for, again, my heart goes out to the people of Ukraine dealing with that. But
you must not know how corrupt Ukraine is.
Oh, I know.
Or the war. They freaking staged a coup and overthrew their government in 2014.
Yeah, I
the
know.
Nazi Azov Battalion were one of the ones that like, and they try and bury that and make it like this is like some. And listen, this is not a shot at the Ukrainian people, but the Ukrainian government is corrupt. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I don't care what anybody. Oh, you take offense to that. It's the truth. You guys launder money. You overthrew your government. You guys have Nazis within your military, the Azov Battalion. Look it up. Look up the Maidan Revolution. No, I don't want my money going there.
No, I agree 100%.
I don't want my money going there at all.
But what we're not understanding and what people don't understand is that by sending troops over there to train, right, sending military aid is one thing. While we don't agree that that's a great thing to do, you do need congressional approval because sending American troops on the ground is an act of war on our part, and there has been no congressional approval to do any of this. So we're basically circumventing the laws in order to placate the narrative, right? Because people are
not like what Obama did.
eating this shit up. Like, oh my God, we're helping. Like, again, drive down the streets of Patterson. Go down to El Paso, Texas. Go to your super awesome Nancy Pelosi, San Francisco. Take a look at the streets. I go to Brooklyn to shows all the time. The garbage pile up, the homeless, the drugs. This is what's happening in America. And, when people came out and, as much as they don't like it, the America First Republicans, which, I believe me and you are. We're
100%.
America First Republicans.
100%.
They want to make it seem like that's a bad thing. Again,
like we live here, bro.
You cannot help people. We talked about the gumball video last week, but you cannot help people if you're not in a position of strength. Now, on the news and on the press conferences and everywhere else, America can pretend they're in a position of strength, but the reality is that we're not. We're coming from a place of weakness.
Right.
We are in over, $30-something trillion in debt, and we continue to add to it every single day. The roads are garbage. The tax bracket's garbage. Eggs are. Did you also? We didn't even have a slide for this.
Oh, man, that's another
50
thing.
million chickens died this week from avian flu.
Total
So if you
coincidence.
like eggs, by the way, my guys and girls, prepare to spend a hefty price for an omelet at your local eatery. You know, it
Not
just
in
the
a
list
million years
goes
did I
on.
think eggs would cost that much. It's practically an unlimited resource, bro.
It's crazy. I mean, right now a dozen eggs is like $5 or $6.
It's not even worth eating eggs anymore.
No, it's not.
I
I mean, I
probably
like
still eat 'em.
I like
Yeah, I'm
eggs.
still
I
gonna
like
eat 'em.
eggs.
Like, they
So
rock, though. Yeah.
you know, but again, if we're gonna continue the circus of the government in the United States that's going on, Billy, read us our next headline.
We went all the way in the deep.
No, we still out
For a
here.
good way, for a good thing.
We're
man.
out here.
So this is some kind of old news, but now it's been official. The Pentagon has officially dropped the Jabberoo mandate.
Say what?
The Jabberoo.
Oh, no.
mandate. Yeah, people don't have to take the Jabberoo anymore to be a part of the military. Shout out to Janessa. That's like what she always says. They don't have to take the Jabberoo anymore because you know
No
they say the
way.
phrase will probably cut you off. So and that also goes for military members that were about to be discharged as well too. So this is good. This is something that should have been done a long time ago. I believe this is a no-brainer.
Right.
Um,
But what changed?
what changed?
I'm gonna let it simmer. We all know. We know.
Yeah.
You know what changed? The Congress changed.
A lot of stuff suddenly started happening.
A lot of stuff. All of a sudden, classified documents are being found, and the government and now the military doesn't need to get a vaccine anymore. It's been 4 days since the Republican Congress has been sworn in.
That's
Pentagon, who by the way lost 65% of their annual budget in 2022.
Ain't that something?
Crazy. All of a sudden, now that's gone. Now you got to ask yourself, what changed? The clown show is just being exposed, and they're cutting their losses where they can, I believe.
Yeah.
And this is, again, we always talk about, is this the hill you want to die on? And I think the Pentagon has realized this is not a hill
not
we
the
want
hill we wanna die
This is
on.
not a hill we want to die on. It's not worth it.
No. So shout out to that.
Oh,
well,
nah,
there's also
no. Go ahead.
Ah, yes.
Go ahead.
I'll talk about this one. I will get back.
It's coming.
It's gonna happen.
I'm just here for the ride.
So, two of the largest manufacturers of the Jabberoo,
Who are they?
Moderna and Pfizer.
Pfizer.
I don't know if I say Pfizer, if I say the
Pfizer.
ah,
Oh.
if I say I don't know what happens. You know,
Oh.
try and
If you could still see us, it worked.
yes, if we're not, all right. Then Pfizer and Moderna.
It went offline.
Oh, come on!
This is ridiculous.
I'm kidding.
but the Moderna and the Pfizer Jabberoo.
It's making me hungry for Italian food when you say that. Like, I really want
The
a pizza.
pizza?
I'm on a diet. This guy, I'm hearing pizza because
Good
I'm
pizza
fat.
up the road,
I'm like,
too.
man, I really want
Taormina's
pizza.
Pizza right
Yeah,
up the road, you know?
shout out.
That should
Maybe
probably
they'll
be
be
the
on
thing of
next
the week.
week.
Yeah, thing of the week,
if
Taormina's
you're
Pizza.
watching, donate.
You go donate, hit us up.
So what did Meezer
Yes,
and
yes, we'll go on
Federna
topic.
do?
So Pfizer and Moderna, they started some medical
Clinical trial
clinical trials
of
because
this of 2022.
of 2022. So this was recent.
It's like 2 months ago.
They want to find out what the long-term effects are going to be from people that took the Jabberoo.
Whoa! There are no. This was tested in 6 months.
Totally safe.
It was you were given free cheeseburgers and donuts and beer.
I forgot to put that video up there.
Cringe. Don't worry. I'm going to put it next week because it just happened. But okay, so in November, right? You're saying, and I just want to follow for the people that. So 2 months ago, these two major companies that were the leading way of the jab are creating a clinical trial to track health issues for long-term effects of the shot.
Mm-hmm. But it goes even further though. It's also checking to follow the diagnosis of the Jabberoo-associated heart problems in teens and young adults.
Heart problems being the simplified word. The long word in the medical term would be myocarditis.
Right.
And people like me and Billy have said that for over a year, and that was
Like, that's not what it is. That's definitely not what it is.
It's a myth. It was.
a lie.
You're
It's a
rogue.
conspiracy.
You're a conspiracy theorist. But
You
now
are fake news.
here you are. This is, and by the way, this ain't Newsmax. This isn't OAN. This is NBC News.
Yeah.
NBC News. Myocarditis after vaccination possibility.
Both Pfizer and Moderna are launching clinical trials to track health issues in the years following a diagnosis of a Jabberoo-associated health problem in teens and young adults. I wonder why they would want to be looking at that. And if you think this is crazy, wait till you see the next slide.
Go to it, Juan.
Oh, look who we have. We have the chief executive.
DB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to what he's got to say, what he's working on right now.
You suck.
He does.
You suck.
Cardiology. We have now in a clinic a super exciting program when we inject mRNA in people's heart
Is he French?
after heart attack.
He's ho ho ho.
to grow back new blood vessels to help revascularize the heart. So it's a bit like science fiction medicine.
Come on, bring it back.
Bring it back.
Because it got me laughing.
Yo, I don't trust the French, bro. There's been 2 world wars and they haven't done nothing, but they see you and they're like, stupid American with your cheeseburgers. You know, but they don't do shit. They call you for help.
They're going to be like, these people are racist.
Listen, I went to shout out to my
they
sleepaway
don't like
camp.
people that aren't American.
Shout out to my sleepaway camp I went to, but they used to bring in like about 30 or 40 French kids, and nobody liked them because they just think they're better than everybody. French people don't like Americans. But we've saved them.
They are kind of rude to us. I'm not
you know what I mean? Imagine like I'm almost going to get hit by a car and you save me. And I'm like, you stupid asshole. Why would you save my life? Like, I hate you. I spit on you. Like Monty Python style. I don't trust them right off the bat. Hold on. You're French. Anyway, continue.
You had me here dying laughing.
I'm sorry. These French people.
Oh, man.
All right, go ahead. Run it back. Let's see what he has to say.
As you say, cardiology. We have now in a clinic a super exciting program when we inject mRNA in people's heart.
mRNA in people's hearts.
To grow back new blood vessels to help revascularize the heart. So it's a bit like science fiction medicine, but that's what is really exciting to me.
But the other side of this
look at the enthusiasm of this sheep right
Moderna,
here.
Though it has this pipeline, has one commercial product, and that's the Spikevax. That's the actual COVID vaccination. So that's the irony of COVID, is it really has in some ways allowed you to go and develop these other areas because of the revenues that came through the door.
You're 100% right.
So for those of you that couldn't understand this fucking croissant, what he basically...
I did not do a cuss word at all.
For those of you that couldn't understand what he was saying, this baguette.
This baguette.
Oh, shit. I was thinking of that. But for those of you that couldn't understand that soft word salad, he basically is saying that they are now... Cardiology. But basically what he's saying is that they're creating a medication to repair the blood vessels in your heart after taking the shot.
Well, no, not just repair the blood vessels in your heart after a heart attack.
But why would... Okay. Pretend I'm not awake.
Okay.
Explain this to them.
Okay.
Why? No. I'm going to give you the scenario, and I want you to explain it. Why would the leading company of the life-saving need to take 5 of them just so you might get mild symptoms vaccination create something after a year went by and people like me and you said there's creating heart problems, be careful.
Right.
Why would that same company who created this life-saving drug in 4 months that wasn't tested create a drug to now repair one of the major symptoms and side effects that we have said was linked to this?
Bro, and people are dropping like flies left and right. And I'll do you one even better, bro. And I the next episode, we're going to be a heck of a lot more prepared with more stuff.
Oh, we're coming in hot.
There's another clip that I wish I put on here, bro, of that same guy.
We only get an hour.
That same guy where they ask him, and they're like, hey, the Moderna, are like, are you going to take it? It's like, well, I don't know the clinical trials. And everyone else is taking it, but I'm not going to put it in me. The dépêchon of the American people.
Right. You're the guinea pig.
Right.
But again, the question, and I want you to explain to them because, again, for me and you, we see this all the time. We're hearing it. We've been trying to tell people. There's a lot of people that might be watching this right now that have no idea about this.
Right.
Why would the company that created the vaccine and then in the middle we found out that there was creating these problems in people's hearts? Why would they now create something that fixes potential problems from having a heart attack and repairing the blood vessel? Explain to me how, one, if the vaccine doesn't cause heart problems, why would the company creating the vaccine create a medicine to prevent heart problems?
Because I care about the people. I want to save the people. That's why.
Are y'all awake
People
yet?
are going to call us racist with this French stuff. Let's stop.
I know. I thought about that after I said it. I'm like, I really do.
Bro,
I like you French people. I just don't know why you don't like us. We say, not we.
They don't like us. They're like, well, listen, we helped finance the Revolutionary War.
You stupid American
pig. We're fair and square.
But seriously, in short, in a 20-second answer, why would the company that created the vaccine also create something that prevented myocarditis?
Listen, man, my thing is this, bro. Even if we're going to, even if the
No, but
even if we're
explain it to them.
Even explain it to the masses. Okay, so basically,
where is it? Explain it to them, Billy. They want to know. They want to know before they get their 7th booster before March. Explain to them.
Listen, guys, don't do it. Let me tell you why. If the guy would not take it, but he's telling you to go and take it, You got people dropping left, right, and center, especially a lot of young athletes.
Wait, he didn't take it?
No, he didn't. And I'm gonna show you the video where they interview him and ask him if he took it. And he's gonna be like, "Yo, why
That'd
would I
be like
take
coming to El Toro and being like, "What do you like on the menu?" And be like, "I don't eat this shit."
Bro,
would
it's your
you
restaurant.
eat there? Would you eat there?
I'd
I'm
be
the
like,
chef. If I was like, I wouldn't eat there. Like,
what are you doing to the food, man?
all right, so he didn't take it.
He didn't take the thing. Now, this guy is also telling you to go and take this new mRNA thing. What I think is, and I could be totally wrong, I think it could probably make the symptoms far worse than they already are. But it is now time for Sheep of the Day. Sheep of the Week, I mean. This week's Sheep of the Week clip goes to Airhead on CNN with this bonehead statement about stoves. And Dave, I want you to weigh in on this because you are a chef.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
You know, the science is showing us that having a gas stove in a small apartment, especially with bad ventilation, it's like having a car idling there. And if you have young kids, it can affect cognitive abilities and as well as asthma.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I couldn't say it better. Oh my God. Look again. You know, it's kind of funny that this is going in the Sheep of the Week. We talked about this. For anybody that has ever watched a video, if you've ever seen sheep being herded, we talked about this right before the show. No, that one. If you've ever seen sheep being herded, what happens, right? You have the dogs, and they surround them on all sides. And what do? They bark, they run, they misdirect, right? Just like the media, just like the politicians, just like the sports figures and the celebrities that we follow. They send you to distraction tactics, and what ends up happening? They lead the sheep to the safest route possible where there's no dogs, right? So what did we have just in this episode? Biden went to the border. It was cleaned up. He's got classified information over here. There's people dropping like bombs now. We can't explain why, but oh, by the way, we started a clinical trial to get rid of the side effect that's coming from this stuff. It's all a distraction because as long as you continue to create new headlines that are buzzworthy, people stop paying attention. So this Sheep of the Week headline goes to them trying to link natural gas. And it's funny because all the senators and people who are anti this natural gas stove have had videos where they have the natural gas stove. And I'm going to talk to you as a chef, as someone who does enjoy cooking.
Very good chef, by the way.
Thank you. Electric stoves suck.
They do.
I don't know temperatures. I go based off of the height of the flame. It cooks more evenly. It's nice. And again, here we are. We're talking about moving on to this electric grid, right? Electric cars, electric stove, electric this, electric that. You know, what happens when there's no power? What happens when there is an ice storm, Billy, and your power goes out in your house and you can't turn on your stove to heat up water? You can't make food. You can't do all these things. I honestly find it completely idiotic. I think that this is, again, a distraction tactic because what they don't want you to understand is while all the sheep are being herded by the dogs and being pushed into a general direction, does everybody know, do you know what happens to the sheep when they get to what they think is the safe spot?
They chill?
They get slaughtered.
Oh, well, yeah, well.
They herd them into the pen exactly where the master of the sheep wanted them to be, and then they are slaughtered. They're skinned and slaughtered. And I'm not saying that well, I'm kind of saying that's exactly what's going on here. Well, I mean, they're moving you into a direction where you believe what they want you to believe, you see what they want you to see, and they direct you to what you think is safe, right? And now there's going to be people that are ripping out their natural gas stove.
I got to get rid of this.
I got to. Asthma. I lived around an Italian grandma and a Cuban grandma.
And she was cooking with a brick oven.
With a gas stove, man, in a little ass apartment in Jackson Heights. And like, you know what?
Oh, you're talking here. I think you're talking about in Italy.
I mean, maybe. That was my great grandma. But I'm just saying, I think this is complete BS. It has nothing to do with anything. It's a distraction tactic. I mean, I don't know what you think on it.
You know, the funniest thing about this, because like the way that I actually found this story was I saw a bunch of people talking about stove, and on Twitter, Alexander, and I wish I could put this on screen, but I actually responded to a tweet that AOC put out.
Read it.
Right, so there's a guy, Ronnie Jackson, right? Okay. I believe he's a congressman. He said, "I'll never give up my gas stove If the maniacs, I'll never give up my gas stove. If the maniacs in the White House come for my stove, then they could pry it from my cold, dead hands. Come and take it. And AOC responds to him and says, did you know that ongoing exposure to NO2 from gas stoves is linked to reduced cognitive performance? And I responded by saying, how would you know? You can't even cook. Except for the brain cells. You clearly cooked that.
Hey, yo. Stupid. Nobody likes AOC.
No.
You
AOC.
know? But that gives
stop
me
it.
hope. I'm a bar owner, and she was a bartender, and now she's a congresswoman. So who knows what the future holds?
Possibly president of the day.
Look, that was a lot of stuff to unpack in 1 week.
Yeah.
You know, from the thing of the
Juan,
day.
did we go over?
Oh, we definitely went over, but we out here, we're cooking.
Yeah,
so
yeah, but you did
that,
good, bro.
That is all the time that we have. We thank you guys for joining us. Again, follow Billy Prempa.
Some guy named Bill.
And me.
Follow the page, Revive US America on Instagram, Revive_America on Twitter, Revive America everywhere else.
And me, not your typical politician, on Instagram. We will be here next week. I can only imagine we're only a couple weeks into 2023
Right.
and things are cooking. So we can't wait to bring this to you live next Thursday at 8 p.m. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
We can't even tell you about what we're going to talk about next week
Nope,
because we had plans
it's
last
too much.
week
It's too
and
much.
way too much happened this week.
We'll see you on next week.
Take care, everybody.
Have a good night.
God bless.